Now, going over to the political part of the podcast, you have Transportation Secretary Duffy finds a nationwide abuse of giving illegal aliens CDLs and licenses, which again are two separate. CDL is the one that you need to actually operate a major truck or commercial truck. And this is brought to us thanks to Libs of TikTok. And she says, quote, breaking, Transportation Secretary Duffy announces terrifying findings of an audit. States are issuing CDLs to people who are in our country illegally. Thousands of licenses that should have never been issued as well. News comes California is the worst offender, of course. Eligibility requirements are a joke. States are not following procedure. Effective immediately, the eligibility for non-domiciled CDLs is completely overhauled. This is, again, Secretary of Transportation Duffy.
We have launched a nationwide audit of non-domiciled CDLs to get to the bottom of what we think is
a commercial driver's license
causing this crisis. We've heard from truckers and safety advocates and news reports that something was seriously wrong. It was alleged that the open border policies of the last administration has led to an exploitation of our nation's trucking licensing system. So today, I'm here to tell you after our audit that those reports, they're all true. What our audit has already discovered should anger every single American. So here's what we've learned. We just want to walk through it. First, our audit revealed a systemic breakdown among states to follow the law and issue licenses properly. States are failing to follow even the most basic procedures. We even uncovered widespread procedural errors, computer programming flaws, and a gross lack of oversight in the states that issue CDLs. This means that thousands of licenses that should never have been issued actually were issued.
Of course.
States are issuing licenses that extend months and even years beyond a driver's lawful presence in the U.S. This is a direct incentive to stay in our country illegally beyond their authorized work permit. They have driver's licenses. So in some disturbing cases, they have failed to validate a driver's lawful presence before handing them a commercial license. It's deeply disturbing, but even worse. Our second finding was that the current federal regulations are allowing dangerous, unqualified drivers on American roadways. This means that even when the rules are being followed, dangerous individuals who shouldn't be near a big rig are getting behind the wheel and causing crashes on our roadways.
And killing people.
Eligibility requirements are deeply flawed, and they're way too broad. They are simply not strong enough to prevent more of these horrific crashes from occurring in America. The system, it's failed, and it's a national emergency. So the combination of a catastrophic failure of states to follow the law and a broken system has created an imminent hazard to American travelers. That is why today I'm announcing two immediate major actions. Number one, we're issuing an emergency rule that fundamentally overhauls who is eligible for a non-domiciled CDL. These tighter federal standards, they're going to keep Americans and families safe on our roadways. Now, this is not a proposal. This is a final rule. And it is effective immediately. Jesse's going to go through those details in just a little bit, but here's the bottom line. Non-citizens will not be eligible for a CDL unless they meet a much stricter set of rules. Second, all states must immediately pause the issuance of non-domiciled CDLs until they can comply with our new rules. My message, it's very simple. Get into compliance now, or we'll pull funding and we'll force you into compliance. Nowhere in the country have we found a more egregious licensing situation than in the state of California.
Of course.
That's why the second action we're announcing today, it's an additional enforcement action against California. So for 2 weeks, FMCSA investigators were on site in California actually looking at their records. So we took a random sample. Investigators found that more than 1 in 4 non-domiciled CDLs were issued in direct violation of federal safety standards.
Of course.
So let's just put that another way. Over 25% of these licenses, they were issued illegally.
California, Of course. It's got about 700,000 views and 39,000 likes, which, again, we're seeing Americans die because of some of this as well. Not just, jobs being stolen from, Americans, citizens, but also people are perishing. When around a couple of weeks ago, you had an illegal who took the life of a family because he also couldn't understand basic signs on the road, which, again, these signs are mostly designed to be universal. The fact that he failed to recognize a majority when he was tested in terms of the signs, that's just another layer of incompetence, and it shouldn't even happen. Yet they gave him a license, gave him a job. Again, trucking is a great way to make a living. A lot of people make six figures doing trucking. And yet a lot of them people are getting them because they're unqualified. People are getting them are unqualified and in many cases illegal. Yeah. Remember when we were told illegals weren't getting any license? Yeah. Yeah, another thing that we were told wasn't happening was in fact happening with great frequency. In this case here, not only just regular license, but CDLs. Now, one of the first ones comes to us thanks to Paul Zupa saying, quote, illegals being given licenses for anything is ridiculous, getting 228 likes. Thick Eggshell says, quote, I always felt nervous around 18-wheelers on the highway but before this has only upped my worries 1,000-fold, getting 8 likes. You have Trump Tracker, our contrarian that I follow, says, quote, now apply the same logic to gun ownership. You almost got it. So close. 39 idiots did like him. AXD says the exact same logic applied already, genius. If you aren't here legally, you can't buy a gun. He shows them a 4473, which is the legal paperwork for a firearm. That got 18 likes. We also have Reinventing Spleen says, oh, did someone confuse privileges with enumerated unalienable rights again, getting 15 likes. Let's see here. Mr. Jerkface says, most gun haters have zero idea of how hard it is to actually buy a gun, getting 20 likes. Hillbilly Free says, what are you talking about? CDLs are not a right. Guns are, getting 29 likes. Was he ratioed then? Oh, 39. Not ratioed by number of likes, but number of comments. Yes. Let's see here. Someone by the name of Dookie says, quote, no one takes this guy seriously. And apparently Trump Tracker has pigtails. Looking funny. Going back to the main comment section. The random guy says, you are here. It's Trump 2024. Then you have Vance, president next twice. Then Charlie Kirk's wife. Then Barron getting 121 likes. Hunter Eagleman says, quote, wonder why insurance rates are through the effing roof, getting 787 likes. We also have the Immortals with Trump saying, I'm pro oxygen, sweet, big, beautiful oxygen. And then the picture below him is liberals putting a bag on their head, getting 83 likes. Let's see here. James Mass has a tweet from American Trucker saying, quote, shocking revelation. A towing company operator just confirmed that a whopping 90% of his rollover accidents jobs this year are from drivers who speak little to no English. This is a massive safety risk that is unfolding. Who's ensuring that these folks are qualified behind the wheel? Wake Up America, getting 119 likes. Common Sense says he said it best himself, and it's a tweet from Gavin Newsom, where he's snipped part of the tweet, so he only says a real disgrace, getting 44 likes. A lot of people are referencing Utah. Let me see here. Noah Fencebutt says, look at Utah. And he's referencing Just Phil Lyons, who says, quote, Utah, of all states, is recklessly issuing CDLs to illegal immigrants and non-citizens, including refugees and asylees, posing a direct threat to public safety. Recent tragedy of Florida, where an incompetent illegal with a CDL caused a fatal accident due to his inability to speak English or read road signs, is a stark reminder of the dangers this policy creates. The Indian Truck Schooling Company in Utah boasts high passing rates and job placement, while this glosses over the critical issues of ensuring only qualified, legally authorized individuals receive licenses. Utah's allowance for illegal immigrants to renew the driver privilege cards, despite insurance requirements, does nothing to address the broader safety risks they pose on the roads. The Department of Homeland Security intervention to stop such practices nationwide underscores the gravity of the situation, yet Utah persists endangering American families. The case of illegal alien obtaining a CDL from Washington or California, despite clear disqualifications, highlights the dangerous precedent Utah sets, leading to preventable and heartbreaking consequences. It's baffling that Utah, a state known for conservative values and commitment to law and order, is at the forefront of this dangerous policy. Prioritizing misguided leniency over the safety of citizens is time to demand better and prioritize safety over political correctness. Looks like there is legit a company called Indian Truck Training School in Utah, and that got 103 likes. You also have maybe denial said, finally, a federal acknowledgement of the issue we're talking about. It's a huge win for American trucker. And this is also being responded to. May B. Daniel says there are hundreds of non-domicile CDL holders with expired visas. Here are four as examples. This is illegal. The CDL expiration should be the same date as the visa expiration. Which, yeah, that's a lot. That is one of the biggest factors or biggest forms of illegal immigration. It's not just people breaking in off the bat by crossing the border illegally, but people who get the visas, who get the visa and overstay. And there are, again, about 50 million people in the United States on visas right now, which is crazy. You also have Bird Extinction said, quote, nope, this is more weak sauce performance art. What's needed is fine and or arrest truck companies that hire illegal drivers. I agree. Arrest all illegal foreign-owned truck companies like the one that hired the Florida killer. Problem would end tomorrow, getting 112 likes. Yep. Let's see here. Mike Hunt says, you guys have no idea how bad the situation is. I've been driving for over 20 years, and this is by far the worst I've ever seen it. By the way, did you know that Obama relaxed the rules of having to speak English to get a CDL? And you have it went viral a couple months ago where everyone was making little toys of themselves. In this case, it says Volvo CDL driver, and it's an Indian with a walkie-talkie and a bottle, and his name is Ahmed. They got 19 likes. Which, again, Trump did finally bring that back, or he actually reinstated a requirement to speak English for CDL license holders and truck drivers. And yes, crazy that they relaxed that. Now, again, other politicians also relaxed requirements because for many years, there's a huge gap in the market where we desperately needed truckers. And that was a big issue as well. As you've seen, there's a lot of schools that popped up, training the practice and the trade. There's a huge demand for that. So again, that is also a contributing factor of why there's a big market to, cut corners, because needing more drivers than ever before. Let's see. You also have Bobby saying, quote, are you ready to have a conversation with Lyft and Uber drivers yet? I bet you aren't, getting 16 likes. Let's see here. Contrarian statement. I don't always try to mispronounce things. It just kind of happens naturally because of my lack of talent. Adish Nakahashu says, quote, scapegoating immigrants for unsafe roads is lazy politics. Most deadly crashes come from Americans with legal license, not illegals with CDLs. Getting 14 likes. Was he ratioed, though? Great Broker Guy says, you have no idea what you're talking about. The deadly phenomenon has been well documented by maybe Daniel, and those who are actually in the industry, getting 10 likes. Texas Gravel says, this will fix some of the problem, but not all. Therefore, we shouldn't do it. Is utterly moronic, getting 7 likes. Yep. Well, one more. Thomas Massey, though it's not really him, says, if you're an illegal alien and driving in Oklahoma, your truck now gets confiscated and you go to jail. Welcome to Oklahoma, getting 25 likes, which that would be a huge incentive to not break the law because, yeah, those trucks are like a house on wheels in terms of the value. And again, it makes sense. Those trucks are usually nice diesel trucks that last, a million miles. They're pretty darn tough. A lot of people make a living with those trucks, provide exceptional ROI. If you were to actually confiscate the trucks, that would be another big deterrent to companies hiring illegals. And again, it's heartbreaking that so many people are losing their lives, as well as job opportunities to people who shouldn't even be here. And again, it just blows my mind that, well, I guess I believe it because it's California, but yeah, there's a lot of places that are incentivizing these bad behaviors and causing more of the negative fallout. But I don't know. Trump has also had exemptions for the farming industry where they said they're going to crack down on illegals, same with the hotel industry. So we'll see what realistically happens here, but let me know your thoughts because, as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in today. Again, trying to get to 6,000 subscribers, so you can do me a favor, click that button. I greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comments. Great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how to make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, anyone, everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.